now, so people who aren't able to be here can listen to the recording later. And before we start, I Pallavi and Teresa were here last Tuesday, the last 2 Tuesdays, in fact, when all of a sudden the lawn mowers and the leaf blowers came outside of my condo. So I had to mute myself. And since then, I didn't realize that it was going to happen every Tuesday. They're scheduled every single Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right? Perfect timing, right? So I contacted the condo association. I told them, I'm on this meeting once a week. Do you think they could change the schedule? And she said, I'll see and I'll get back to you. Well, she never got back to me. So I contacted her today and she said they could not change the schedule. Now, catch this. It had been raining here the last 2 days and it's dry today. So chances are they'll be back today unless they get delayed at another place because they couldn't go there the last 2 days because it rained. So I'll go on mute again if that happens. But there's like a little like lesson, 3 principles kind of thing about this that happened this morning. You know how Sid says truth is everywhere? So because of this noise factor that could happen at any moment, I got in touch with my next door neighbor, who's like my angel. He waters my outside plants when he's watering his. He's got a lot more than I do. He's retired. He has time to do all this stuff. So we're back and forth often about the condo things and whatnot. So I told him about this situation, about the noise factor. And he said, I know what he said. He said, well, pretty soon it'll be, fall is over and they won't be mowing and leaf blowing anymore. So I say, well, no, then they'll be coming with the snow plows, which are equally as noisy. And he says, oh, think positive. So I said to him, well, David, one thing I found out about thinking positive is that no matter how positive I am, stuff still happens. It's not like I can think it away or think of a better thing happening. But I said, the great thing is, I know that I've got it inside me to handle whatever happens, because I know I can, I'm going into it in more detail with all of you, but we all know that we can depend upon the same wisdom that is taking care of the rest of the world. It also takes care of us. We're part of the universe. And it's the same force that's keeping the planets in line and, doing what they do, suspended in time. And so we all know we can depend upon that whatever shows up, we don't have to worry about it. We can do what we can to prevent the worst from happening. But I just thought, I had to share this with you because it's just part of what we're discovering all the time and remembering. So let me see if there's one other thing I want to say before I open it up for all of you to share what you're finding and what's going to be helpful to other people listening in. And there could be people showing up at any point. So there will be people listening, and even some who may still show up, who are at different levels of understanding. Some are just learning about Sid Banks. Some are just learning about the 3 principles at the very beginning. So as you share, if you could keep that in mind, that would be fantastic. Because part of our sharing to people who have never been exposed to this understanding helps us. It helps us to simplify things. And Alan is so, so good at simplifying. I love what your comment was, Alan, that there was a question and your response was just love.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all read that comment. Somebody asked a question about conceptualization, like if people are getting into conceptualizing the three principles and trying to explain what it is and figure out what it is and understand it from an intellectual place. And, there's something so much deeper than the intellect figuring things out. It's the place where we all know. So, with that said, who wants to take it from there?
I can start. Or did someone else? Yeah, because I had a light bulb moment this evening, and I thought it might be a good way of looking at the three principles and why we can't understand them in the beginning, maybe. Because I took my laptop out and I wanted to log on to go to the Zoom, and by accident I put the wrong password in, so I couldn't access what's on the computer. And I thought people often think there's something wrong with them and they need to be fixed. But imagine you have a brand new computer, someone just gave it to you, there's nothing wrong with it, and they gave you the password, but they made a mistake and they gave you a faulty password. You're not going to take the screwdriver and start dismantling the laptop. That would be really silly and maybe dangerous. You're electrocuting yourself. So we have been given the wrong password by our parents, by society, whatever, and we can't access our happiness now. And we think there is something wrong with me because I'm not happy, and it doesn't even occur to us that we were given the wrong password. And some people even want to throw the laptop away. They want to kill themselves, and they think, what an awful life. And all they need is someone who gives them the right information. And I think that's what Sid did. He gave us the right information, and he actually told us, you know what, there is no password. I don't know what you're trying to log on, but you can just open your life up and there it is. And I thought that is for me because I struggled. I thought, how do I explain to people about Sid Banks? And I thought, oh, maybe I should tell his story. And I don't need to do this. I can just find examples from daily life that people understand. And I can invite them to then think, maybe you've been given the wrong information or you haven't been trained. And I'm just offering you some information. You can take it or not. See how it feels.
Oh, I love that. I love that metaphor. We're just given misinformation, all the conditioned thinking that we do. And the metaphor of a password, we've been given the wrong password so often in life that we need fixing. Wow, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, it's really great, Teresa. Cool analogy. Like I felt like that when I first read the book from Jack Prensky, that somebody should have told us, because I always felt like this, like, where's the manual for life, Who can tell me how it works? Because like there are so many different theories out there, and it didn't work out anywhere. So it feels pretty much the same to me, like with learning about the 3P. For me, it feels like it just changes the direction where to look. It's not that I never before heard the sentence, look inside or whatever. I did a lot of meditation stuff and things like that. But I guess I never really understood what they meant, because I still kept looking in my story and in my emotions, like in a way still outside stuff. And I don't know why, but for some reason in listening to Sid, and even before I listened to Sid himself and talking to 3P coaches, I just got this moment of, oh my God, they really mean inside, and it's really already there, and I'm already there. And like, it's not like I'm there all the time, but I got this feeling or experience that it's real, not just a theory or not just some nice philosophy, but that it's really real. And also like that really the new stuff I see, or yeah, that it gets very practically, that the wisdom really comes from there. Like I think that's what I like most about this year now that I've experienced with learning about this, that it seems to become so practical, the whole, all the spiritual ideas and stuff I always was fascinated in, or kind of believed in, but it becomes more part of my daily life, and I really like that. So yeah, I will remember the password thing because it's really like this simple shift, huh? Yeah.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, it changes everything, right? When you realize that your experience is coming from inside yourself. I mean, there's nothing in life that doesn't begin to look different. That was my experience. As I saw it more and more and more, that there's no exceptions. Everything we experience, literally everything, is coming from our own take on it, our own, uh, as they say, separate reality. Yeah.
This is, thank you for letting me in the school, Lori. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor to have you, Alan.
Yeah, my name is not user, but I
Yeah,
don't know
I was
how
going to say, who are you? But
to, I don't know how to make it any other. So I am Alan, a user, but no.
if
You
you
know,
go under a participant,
you do?
under participant, and
Okay.
then you click on your name, and there's the option of rename yourself.
Oh, perfect. I will do that. And I was thinking, I really have appreciated this group. I've watched a couple of webinars, and pelleve, is that how you pronounce your name, pelleve? I mean, that was an amazing comment you wrote. And
Thank you.
and I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about you guys, and thinking about how when I met Sid in 1978, I had no idea what I was showing up for. And there were a bunch of us that were invited to a meeting by this guy that had seen some stuff. And so we just showed up. There's a group of probably 15 people. And, there's Sid sitting up front, and he started to talk. And I was saying about 10 minutes, I was the quietest and the safest and the most peaceful I'd ever been in my life. And I have, over the decades, come. Hello? My wife is organizing herself here.
Hi, the redhead.
The redhead. This is the redhead. Yes, you are the redhead.
I'm the redhead.
Oh, so nice to meet you.
Hi, everybody.
This is Nancy.
Nancy?
Nancy.
Oh.
She's gonna go work. She volunteers up at the Humane Society, and today is a couple hours with kittens.
Oh.
So she gets to go up and spend a couple hours with kittens. Does that sound good or what? Anyway,
I'll
so
just tell people why I call Nancy the redhead. We've not met, but that's how I communicate with Alan, because it's her laptop. So I feel like I already knew her. Yeah. Anyway.
So I was just extremely touched by him and what he had to say, and couldn't understand what he said, because back then the three principles weren't as formalized or codified as they are now. But I was deeply touched by listening to him. And then over the years, in the beginning, we all wanted to teach the principles, which turned into a trap, I think, for us. But
How do you mean, Alan? What do you mean by a trap?
well, I remember Elsie Spittle standing up in front of a group of people with a flip chart and a a Sharpie pen, drawing circles, mind, thought, consciousness.
That was the years of trying to conceptualize it.
trying to, it's like you see a little piece of this and you want to share it. Good luck. Good luck. And so we did that. I did that for businesses and, lots of different kinds of groups. And I finally I didn't burn out on it, but I just got kind of discouraged by that effort. So I moved away from it and then come back again and moved away and come back. Always looking for to be touched by what people see. What this is, the truth of it, Sid. And that's why, when I read Pallavi's, comment, I thought, that feels good. So, like I said, I keep coming back and, haven't taught the 3 principles for a long time. I enjoy writing about it. I don't know if you guys have that same experience, but I have a much more connected time writing about what I see or don't see or what I think is true. Speaking is harder for me, and I understand that it's easier for some people. So, I mean, Laura, you do a great job.
Alan, I prefer writing also. Yeah,
you do.
I mean, I have fun when I'm talking with all of you. I enjoy it. It's fun, but there's something about writing that just, I don't know. It feels like a deeper experience if I'm in the right state of mind.
Always. Yeah, always.
It's the state of mind. And what you said, Alan, is so true that I also got turned off when people were trying to speak it like share, teach it. It was more in those days, it was more like trying to teach something with the flip chart, and we were going out 2 at a time, right? To do, what were they calling those times? I don't even remember now what it was called, but we would go out 2 at a time to present to a group of people who were interested in knowing more. So, everybody was doing the best they could, given how they were seeing or imagining what Sid was sharing with us. And I think when at some point, a group of people who were sharing the 3 principles, even before Sid talks about the 3 principles, they realized that it was pointing to something. That's what Sid, in my mind, did for us. He's pointing in a direction to a spiritual essence where we're coming from. And I know that has tremendously affected my life. When I'm in the personal, even trying to figure this out personal, it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And what you said, Alan, about feeling touched, that's the feeling that I think really wakes people up, when you could be touched. And it's not, anything you can do to get yourself feeling touched other than listen to Sid. I think even, it's so great that we have videos for people to listen, or reading when your mind is quiet. That's when people are apt to feel touched. It's in the feeling. And that's what Sid said. Look for a beautiful feeling. That's where the knowledge comes from. Pallavi.
But even Elsie woke up. No, she said, I can't believe I was using flip chart and stuff like that. No, so she woke up to that fact that she didn't need that, and just be mentored by mind, and that's what she does now. So she did change her or ways. For me, speaking is easier than writing because I don't have to be so careful about grammar. And also I write long, and I'm writing a little ebook now for my website as a giveaway. But I write longhand, and now I have to retype everything because for me it's easier to write longhand and then type everything. And sometimes I cannot read my own handwriting anymore. Anyway, so that makes life fun. And I heard another metaphor to go with Teresa, and I heard it from Jamie Smart first, and then I heard recently Michael Neal use it. So is that from Michael or from Jamie? We don't know. But if you give people a choice of a phone, and you give them the choice to have a phone full of apps, all kinds of apps, all the apps that you want, but no internet. We have another phone that has no apps, but is always connected to the internet. Which one will they choose? And usually they will choose the one that is connected to the internet. And that's the metaphor, that we're always connected to mind. Whether we know, so we don't need all those self-development apps. We're
nice.
always connected to mind all the time. So that was
that's nice.
A good one as well.
Well, this is the day of good metaphors here.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Ellen, so nice to meet you. I actually read your book this summer.
Oh, did you read the old one or the new one?
Perfect Misfortune, I don't know.
It was the new one. That book has about 30 or 40 less pages than the first one. It has much fewer concepts in it.
Okay.
And I understand that the first one, people enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But the 2015, we evolve through life. We learn things, and books are just oftentimes in concrete. They're where you were at that time, and you wish you can change them, which is why I love the digital piece.
I downloaded it on the Kindle, so I guess it's the new version then.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah. It was really helpful to me. Like, I came to the 3P after 5 years of chronic pain, and I'm still dealing with physical pain. And your book was really, really helpful for me, very supportive. And I just wanted to tell you.
Good. Thank you.
I want to make sure people got the name Perfect Misfortune. And it's on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Could you give a little synopsis of, do you want to do that? Give a little synopsis.
Just very quick. I've had MS for 40 years, and it's been a journey, and being touched by this understanding has helped me over the years. And I think that stress, and as Bill Pettit would say, chronic inflammation is not good. And I think there's some healing power in the quiet and peace that can come from this understanding. And I'm not saying people will be healed, but their bodies have a better chance of healing, I think. So the book is about the journey, and I really don't want to say a lot about it because it sounds conceptual to me, but I tried to write that book so that it would touch people.
And it does.
It does. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That would be interesting to hear from pelleve.
I guess it felt pretty personal, and like I felt like I could feel your story a bit, or your experiences, and it felt very honest. And to me, it didn't feel very conceptually, but more really about this feeling and exploring and finding your own way. I mean, it's a few months back that I read it, but it helped me because I tend to, like, the pain that I have comes from fibromyalgia. So the idea is it should go away with calming down and learning about stress. And for me, like, I've been getting better and I've lost a few symptoms, but I still have a pretty constant experience of pain that goes up and down. So to me, it really helped to read from somebody from the 3P perspective, or with an understanding of the 3P and the perspective of just dealing with physical stuff that's there and not being so focused on somehow getting rid of it or making it go away. So something, I don't remember what it was, but something in that direction was very helpful for me to just hear about your experience, how you deal with it and experience it.
I think one of the benefits of this whole experience over the decades has been to feel okay with being authentic and vulnerable. You know, authentic and vulnerable. Brene Brown talks a lot about being authentic and vulnerable. If you've ever read or seen her TED.com talks, but the fact that we're always home, right? You know, we're always home. We're always on the internet, right? You know, I mean, that allows me to be myself, and it allows me to be wise about being myself, so that if I snap at somebody, or if I don't feel positive, it's okay. You know, it's all right. And I just need to do the next common sense thing. Yeah, I think that's one of the big benefits of this, has become okay with just being who I am and not trying to impose that on other people or, you know, situations. Anyway.
Yeah, that's so.
I oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say,
I work a lot with.
I just wanted to interject one thing. Then it's
Okay.
everything Alan said and Pelleve have said, and Teresa, it all is the same for emotional pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. If you're not trying to push away something that's bothering you, it leaves. Your mind automatically lands on something else, and often that something else is a lot more positive. Just you're not looking for positive thinking, but it's just the way our system works. If we're not fretting that about feeling sad or lonely or anxious or bothered by someone, then we're on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's it, you know, and so it's a lot less painful living like that, emotionally or physically. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
There's sometimes like the greatest things to find in there, like when stuff comes up that challenges your understanding, where some judgments and beliefs are there, and then like I listen to Sid a lot. Like I like the old talks when there's so much sweet stuff in there, and then I suddenly find this peace, like in the middle of the same circumstances or the same stuff happening, and I just feel like this is such a gift, and there's so much freedom in there because, yeah, you just know you can find it in any circumstance. Like you might get caught up first or scared or whatever, but at some point it's always like it never leaves. You can still go back there, and that's pretty cool.
I have sometimes been in deep despair about different things that have happened, deep despair. And even in the middle of that emotional turmoil, there's always something that is untouched inside me, so that it passes. You know, it always passes. And on the other side is the lesson about what that was.
Yeah.
And the ego belief that's causing that suffering, as I bring it alive. I hope we don't have to learn lessons by experiencing deep suffering. But I know that the lessons that I've learned have seemed to come during those times or after those times. Yeah, right after those times. So.
Well, I guess that's what Dr. Pettit refers to as love letters. Love letters from the universe, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I hate that metaphor when I'm in a low mood, but sometimes I get it.
Oh, right. If you're in a bad mood, you mean, and you think about this is no love letter. Are you okay?
And why do I keep getting them and stuff like that, you know?
But
yeah.
lots of physical pain is actually emotional pain. Like fibromyalgia, there's one main emotion that drives the fibromyalgia. And it's, yes, I do that for a living. And I found that that particular emotion is there 98% of the time. And that drives the pain. And if you look at your pain, it's never constant. No, you have flare-ups and down. And what's going on when you have a flare-up in your life? And I think Bruce Lipton says also, and a few others, that 85 to 90% of emotional pain is actually physical pain is driven by emotional. You know, we don't listen to the love letters. And then the body says, well, you're listening this time around. And so it does happen a lot. So by doing the 3P's, there is more calm, and having more calm, there will be less flare up until that take care of that emotion. So that's why there's probably more calm and more stability. But yes, it is an emotional 100% of the time. Yeah, it's an emotional driven.
Yeah, I guess you're talking in the direction of TMS and Dr. Sano and these approaches.
Again, Sarno, back pain is anger.
Yeah.
Most of the time, sometimes it could be also emotional, financial fears that could be also in back pain. But anger, yeah.
I just have to say that for me, this just doesn't ring true. Like I've learned all that.
Most people with fibromyalgia will say, oh, I'm not angry, but it's repressed anger. It is repressed. There is an event that happened when you were very young and you were not able to express it. It was not safe or whatever, and it's repressed. And that anger gets repressed. And it's like the brain, that's more New German medicine as well, but as to not feel it, the body will create one of those 18 points. They will just remove the oxygen in those 18 points that fibromyalgia has. So you feel the tenderness of that. And it's kind of a way of you not feeling that repressed anger. But if you talk to fibromyalgia, they will say, oh, I'm not an angry person. That's the typical answer because it's repressed.
I have a client in New York who is used to be a high-powered corporate attorney, and they have fibromyalgia, multiple chemical sensitivity. They smoke at least 2 packs of cigarettes a day in their 200 square foot apartment. They have this lifestyle, which is just insane, and it's okay. So when we talk, and they've listened to Sid's tapes, and they like George's old tapes, George Pransky's old tapes. But when we talk, you know, I gave up a long time ago trying to teach with her, you know, trying to teach with her. So all we do now is we talked yesterday for 2 hours, and all I do is listen to her and respect her choices and let the resilience that I know is inside of her come to the surface so that she looks at her life a little differently, a little lighter. She can be authentic and vulnerable. with me, so I don't have to fix her. I don't have to fix her. All I have to do is just listen.
It's a good point. As Lori knows, there's an ongoing situation with my sister who has fibromyalgia and also borderline personality disorder, which makes it really fun. And she's being gaslighted by her ex big time. And I'm trying to point her back. And being the sister, sometimes I lost patience, especially it's been like 9 months that she's phoning me between 1 to 15 times a day. So sometimes I like a bit of the patient that needs to be there, especially when she's in crisis, and always trying to point her back. I said, well, right now, no, that happened 2 months ago. That happened last month. That happened this. But right now, this happened today, and this happened today, and this happened today. So even my daily life is and it's been a ordeal trying to, and she doesn't speak English, so I cannot say, listen to Sid. Although I did make her listen to Sid once, I thought maybe just the calm voice will have an impact. It didn't work. I have permission now from Jack to translate. Someone should have told us. So now I've just decided if I want to take that project on, because Katja Simons translated it in German. It took her 5 years. I thought, oh my God, do I want to do that? But yeah, so sometimes I don't know if it's because she's my sister or after the 15 called that day, less patient. But yeah, sometimes just pointing and pointing and pointing. Sometimes, I don't know. Do you have any tricks to
point?
help? Yeah.
Point that way, then you point that way. You know, and that's really, I think, all you can do.
Well, here's the trick that I'm going to borrow from Mr. Redhead User, Alan Flood, who said in our Facebook group, he said the answer is love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think she might go to you, Martine, so often because she gets that feeling from you. So she wants that feeling. This is my guess, right? That she knows you love her and you care about her and you're wanting her to feel better. She deserves to feel better, you know? And so I think that might be what she craves so much. She thinks she's coming to you for advice or, you know, for your counseling help. I think it's just the feeling. What do you all think?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in because I think I probably, I mentioned that in the last meeting about the Pygmalion effect, where someone changes because that person believes in them and believes that they are going to be okay or they can achieve something. And I had that today at work. I started to work with someone and I'm a mental health support worker. And I can feel this is such a good feeling. I know he is okay and he can't see that. And I'm not worried. And before I always thought I have to fix people. And the Pygmalion effect tells us that I think the reason why it works both ways, it works also if you think someone is useless, because it's not only your belief and then it's only inside, it comes out in the tone of your voice, in your words, in your body language, the way you relate to them. If you've got a really high expectation that your sister needs to change in a certain way, I don't know if you have that, I'm just like saying, because you've sounded a bit, I heard you sounded a bit intense, like you said, oh, like 9 months she's calling me now and nothing is changing. But it's not your job to fix her, and you can just be in the knowledge that she's all right. And I think this is the best gift we can do to each other. And that's why we don't have to teach the 3 principles. We only have to feel them and experience them ourselves. And then when I approach people, I don't need to plan what I'm saying. There are a few rules. Look for the feelings. It keeps saying that. Look for the feeling. And don't listen to my words. So I don't have to think about what I say to the person. It's about how I feel about them, and that I just feel the knowledge. We are all okay. And I don't have to fix anybody.
And you're right. It's just because sometimes after the 10th phone call, I'm not there anymore. And so the first few I'm there, and then after that I get, oh shit, no, not again. So although last week I gave her an ultimatum, I said, you're allowed only one phone call a day. That's it. No, so choose your time, but it's that one phone call a day. And only at that time or at that time. That's it. And so now because there's only one phone call a day in the last few days, instead of 10, 15, I'm able to be like more there, like you say, because at the end of the day, there are days I could be there, and other days as, oh no, not again. So I go in between those two. But you're right. You're totally right. Totally right.
It's
Yeah,
so
I love
funny when I heard
about knowing that nobody needs to be fixed. And also, I think it's important to realize the other one comes up in my awareness, in my consciousness. So that means everything I see about them has to do with how I see them and not how they are. And that insights and your own way, what you learn, what you see, how your understanding gets deeper, really comes from everyone's own insight. Like you can't give it away. You can just be present or not. And I don't even think it's in our hands so much, like how it is in the moment. Yeah.
I was thinking,
absolutely.
oh, sorry, go ahead. I was,
I'm just going to interject here. I just love how you're all seeing that it's about seeing that we're all okay. Everybody, people, not just us, but people, everybody we come in contact with. Nobody needs fixing. Never broken, nothing lacking. Nothing broken, never lacking. Right? Yeah, that's what's so inspiring, touching. I don't know what the word would be about Sid's uncovering what he called the 3 principles, that it's all coming through us just from our own thought and consciousness. But that's all it is. We're all working the same way, and nothing needs to be fixed. It's just where we are in every moment, in different moments.
I just thought of something I do. There's an actual do thing here. Okay, when I first heard Sid, I let myself open up. And my experience over the last decades has been either being open up or closed. If I look at my dog and I look at my dog in an open way, his name is Eddard Stark, named after a Game of Thrones character. Anyway, so Eddard, I love Eddard, I appreciate Eddard, I enjoy Eddard. If I see Eddard closed, I see somebody that's trying to get me to do something that I don't want to do. If I look outside at nature and it's closed, I see trees that are going to fall on my house in the next windstorm. You know, if I look at it in an open way, I see this beauty that, you know, might require some tree cutting, but it's the next common sense thing. So it's been a using of that human capability to open up or close is the way it feels to me, to be touched or close. It's hard to talk about, but I think that gets at it.
Yeah, that's another great metaphor. You know, and for me, the openness is also, oh, I just had it and it just escaped me. It's like, just, I just lost it. It'll come, I guess, if it was important to say, but yeah, I know what it is. It's a feeling of confidence, not in the personal Lori, what Lori personality is capable of, confidence in what's behind Lori, that universal truth, that universal energy, that universal perfection. It's the human that does stupid things and makes mistakes, but the spiritual essence of us, that's a different story. What do you think?
I like a few days ago in some call I was in, somebody like one 3P coach said, like, in a side sentence, life has seasons, you know, very simple sentence. We all heard it 1,000 times before, could be on some cheap calendar, you know, you don't need a 3P meeting for life has seasons. But somehow this thing was what struck me most. Like I got this whole image of everything has seasons, you know, like the planets going around the sun and night and day and the flowers opening and closing. And that's why I'm saying that, because of the opening and closing thing. And like suddenly I felt myself be a part of it, like a teeny tiny part sitting in there, which also goes to the comment I made in the group. It just suddenly seemed so very absurd and futile for me that I'm spending a lot of my time with trying to avoid my own seasons, you know, like my moods, my whatever, like the whole seasons of my body, like being tired or not, and the whole thing. Like it just felt like, yeah, it's just part of it. And as long as I'm the one sitting there being the space in which it all arises, I'm not suffering with it. It's just when I think like I am this thing going on in front of me right now, and I am this mood or this belief or whatever, that's when the suffering starts. So yeah, I don't know. Just
Well,
came
that
to
is
mind
right
about
on.
the opening and
Absolutely
closing.
right on. And you know why it's so right on is because what you're saying, Pallavi, is that as long as you're trying to avoid a feeling or get past the feeling or be done with the feeling, essentially you're saying, I'm not okay. Right? So when you're okay with whatever feeling or physical or emotional is coming through you, when you're okay with it, because you know you're okay no matter what, underneath whatever's going on, underneath the thought storm, you're okay. And by the way, what you wrote in our Facebook group about oneness that Alan commented on, about how beautiful that was, I loved it. And I don't know if you were on the webinar when Richard Mayer was on, Richard Mayer, and he's creating this digital book that has, you know, goes by the alphabet. So, you know, I don't remember, you know, they're all connected to the 3 principles, innate health, what we're uncovering, what we're seeing. And so I sent him a copy of that, and he's got it in his file for oneness. So you might be hearing from him. I lost Pallavi on that. Did I lose you on that? I don't know what happened. Or maybe she
Sometimes
ran into the
Zoom
tower.
just kicks you out for no reason.
I
So
know. Actually, I have to get going because I have a client in 6 minutes. You know, it's a
Oh.
short week with Thanksgiving here in the US. So I've got everybody crammed into 4 days instead of 5 days. And so, any last comments anybody wants to say?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You're in Seattle, right, Alan?
Bend, Oregon.
Where?
Bend, Oregon.
Oh, Bend, Oregon.
Bend,
I
Oregon.
was thinking Washington, but I knew you're on the west,
Yeah.
northwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thank
so, I just want to say one thing. So were you part of like Dr. Mills, Roger Mills, and Rita
Mhm.
Shuford?
Yeah.
They all came from Oregon. And
Yeah.
So yeah, let's.
I'm glad to see you back, Pelleve. I thought maybe, I don't know what I thought.
My internet just went out.
That's what I figured. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, we got to go, but thank you all for coming. I really so love doing this. And it wouldn't happen without all of you, right? It's a group effort.
and happy
you.
Thanksgiving to the
Oh.
Americans.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yay. Oh yay.
You know, if you're on, if anybody's on Instagram, look for me because I found this wonderful, through history.com, a wonderful story about the first Thanksgiving. You know, people have this really bad idea, and so did I, that the Puritans and the colonists came and they desecrated the Native Americans. And I just, what a horrible history. But do you know that there is this beautiful painting of the first Thanksgiving where the pilgrim women serving the natives? So they're in their Indian headdresses and and it's true that the first one was very peaceful and harmonious. And I thought, wow, that really gives so much hope for our future as humanity, that we can be different and learn from each other and share. Differences are wonderful. They're not something to, gain power over. So anyway, Lori the number 3 principles. Yeah,
I'm not
check it out.
down.
Yeah.
And then I'll follow you guys if you're on Instagram. I love, being able to share images and little stories. That's a great place to do some writing for you writers. Alan, yeah.
Yeah, I've never used Instagram, so.
What's
never
that?
used it. I've never used Instagram, so I look forward to learning.
Yeah, check it out. All right. Well,
Thank you very
thanks
much.
so much. Have
Thank
a
you. Thank you.
great week. Hope to see you next Tuesday.
Yes. Yes.
Bye, everybody.